Hello, Detroit.
The Detroit Creativity Project has taken a lot of my students by surprise.
The Detroit Creativity Project, at least in its initial phase, is a program to offer improv instruction in the public schools of Detroit.
Oh God. Who are all these people? Where did you come from? Why are you standing there?
I love improv. It's just off the head.
Detroit is my home. It's nothing but love.
I think that improvisation is one of probably the best skills that a person can learn for life.
There's really no class that you take that teaches you how to listen and how to get your point across. Improvisation does that.
This program isn't just for actors who want to create a career for themselves. This program is for regular people who want to create a better self.
Improv skills help in everything. If you're in an interview and you don't know how to respond to a question, those improv skills kick in.
When you come downstage in improvisation and you get a couple of suggestions from the audience and then you create something out of nothing, you finish that and realize, I just did something impossible. What I just did is impossible. Everything else seems easy.
This is one of the best things that have ever happened to me. In Detroit, art funds are cut all the time. And it's really sad because we have a lot of people that have just performance in their hearts, and not a lot of people get to express that.
We're starting with improv because that's where we all come from. But with hope, this program will blossom and we'll be able to send artists into school to share their gifts in many art forms, whether that be the visual arts, in painting, or filmmaking, in fashion, in music.
People's view of Detroit is that it's a rundown city and there's only violence and crime. But what people don't see is programs like this who are trying to help people, which will make Detroit a better place.
And I think the one thing that's true about almost any Detroiter you meet is that they've got huge dreams.
My dream is to be in the NBA.
I want to be a famous singer.
Electrical engineer.
Marine biologist.
An actor.
There's so much I want to be. And I think dreams are what kind of fuels the city.
For those of you who just missed that, the announcement is that, hello, I'm muted. My name is Jess, and I'm the digital producer for this year's festival. I'm coming to you live from Tech Central, and so excited to be here on day 2 of the festival. And I'm going to put this down because it's clearly just a prop. But I am so happy that you are here to join us. Just a couple things. The DWCF is raising money to donate to 2 great nonprofits. So not 1, but 2. More bang for your buck. And they are the Planning and Theater, who is helping us put the show out there, as well as the Detroit Creativity Project, the video you saw up top. So 2 really great things. We hope you donate. The Cash App is $DWCS or Venmo at DWCF-DWCF. But we are going to get the ball rolling here. We've got a great thing coming up. It is a podcast. It is a really fun podcast with a really great concept. We're very excited to bring it to you. So I think we just go ahead and get the show started. So I introduce to you the Improverbial Podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Improverbial, a podcast where we unearth obscure sayings and phrases from around the world, invent absurd new proverbs, and talk about things mundane, spurious, irrelevant, and profound. I am the Habitalist, Pete Kirkwood.
And I'm Lisa Thauvette, the Tilt Thinker. I've been doing and coaching improv for many years. Pete and I have been doing improv together for some of those years. This podcast is a mashup of Pete's interest in the science of well-being, my background in education and human development, our shared fascination with the world's idiomatic weirdness, and our superpowers in improv comedy. We are the Improverbializers. Woohoo! Yeah!
Pete, we're here. Wow. Woo-hoo. What an exciting episode we have. Yeah. I mean, there's 2 really exciting things happening. The first thing is we're live. We never do our podcasts live. They are
Usually
always,
we're dead.
Yeah, usually we're dead when we do them. No, usually they're recorded. As so here being live, a little nervous, need to look my best. and we're normally not seen. And the other one is that we are part of the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival. Yes, we are so excited. Thank you so much to the DWCF for including us in this great festival. We are feeling so honored to be amongst so many great comedians, female comedians of Detroit, and I heard beyond. This really is nationally, they've got a lot of talent. And part of this festival, studio of Cold Shower Media, which is located, just outside of Traverse City, Michigan. And along with us for this ride, you can't see him, but is our trusty producer, Taylor Kramer of Cold Shower Media. Yes, thank you, thank you so much, Taylor. So also with us is myself, Lisa Thauvette, and my beautiful partner here,
Pete Kirkwood.
Pete Kirkwood. And together we are the Improverbializers.
Yes, we are.
So now this podcast, a little bit of background, this podcast is part of the Boardman Review Podcast Collective, which is a collective that brings together cool, creative, smart, and funny people that are living in the Grand Traverse area. And these great creative people develop and curates podcasts.
Shout out to our friends at the Boardman Review.
At the Boardman Review. Yes, most definitely. So, Pete, let's explain to the people who have not heard our podcast before. What's going on?
Sounds good. So the way our podcast works is it's in 2 parts. And the first part is we find an idiomatic phrase or saying that you may be familiar with or that you may never have heard of from somewhere in the world. We explain its kind of background, where it came from, what its meaning is. And then we sort of talk about, we do some research into it, no more than 35 minutes total
of research. Yep.
And then we go down some rabbit hole about some spuriously specific aspect of that proverb. And hopefully it ends up being hilarious and slightly educational. That's part one.
Part one.
We also try to bring in some big thoughts from our respective areas of expertise, which for me is the science of well-being and happiness.
And for me, it's a human development and education.
Absolutely. And then the second part of our podcast is we have a magical machine which spits out 2 random words, which are, well, you guys provide them, and then they get put into the machine and it chooses 2 magical words for us. And we learn them at the same moment that you learn them. And then we fabricate a brand new proverb or saying out of whole cloth, just out of our little old noggins. And then we talk about where it came from and its important meaning and its etymology and how it was a big influence on our life as if it were a real proverb. And we just have a great time with that.
We make up the second part, basically. So before we get started, I do want to already get some words from the audience. 2 of these words will be used in the second half of our show. So please, audience, will you put some words in the chat? This can really be any word that's just interesting. It could be about sports or fashion or food. We'll take all those words.
Or just a cool word that you like.
A cool word you like, and we'll use those words in the second part of the podcast.
The Proverbatron will.
There's a big expensive machine. It's really magical. Yeah. So Pete, why don't we just get this kicked off? Introducing our first proverb or saying, and for this episode, it is: a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle.
So appropriate.
A woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. I know for me, I remember being, 5 years old or something, or I was reading then. So maybe I was 7 or 8. And my mom had a bumper sticker. She didn't have it on her car, but she had it pinned up in her office. And I remember asking my mom, what is it? Did not make any sense. It did not make sense to me at all. Right. I couldn't understand any type of meaning on that. But of course, basically the meaning is a woman is capable of living a complete and independent life without a man.
Yeah. Men are basically superfluous and often bothersome accessory.
And also fun and adorable and lovely, as you are, Pete.
Oh, thank you so much. I have to say I'm super honored to be here. I know I'm sort of an interloper at the Detroit Women in Comedy Festival, but I'm just thrilled.
You're my yin to my yang.
Oh, thanks. Well, so this phrase was popularized by the famous feminist Gloria Steinem, but actually attributed to have been coined by a woman named Irina Dunn, who is super interesting. She was born in Shanghai, moved to Hong Kong, and then to Australia. In Australia, she became a citizen and was an author, an editor, a filmmaker. Then she became a prison rights activist, married a convicted bank robber, then became a senator for New South Wales, which is where Sydney is, right? Her mother was a Shanghai Russian. Her father was Irish, Portuguese, and Chinese. And she's just like super interesting. Anyway, she wrote this phrase on a bathroom stall.
What? On a bathroom stall?
That's what she said.
Okay.
And then the rest is history.
So if I go into a bathroom stall at some point and I see something that really catches my eye, that could be just some type of gem proverb.
I think you should just scrawl things.
I'm going to start scrawling things. See what we can do.
How about one of our proverbs?
One that we make up. We're going to put it.
We're going to do that.
So I really like this. Besides this memory, as this 7 to 8 year old reading this bumper sticker my mom had. The rabbit hole I went down on this one was women and bicycle. This is what I wanted to, because I was thinking, there's like a male bike and a female bike, and my brain was kind of going that way. And I was thinking, so I looked up women and bicycle. Okay. And the thing that came up with that was how the bicycle was so important to the suffragist movement, to the feminist movement.
What?
Yes, it's true. So there's even a quote. It's the bicycle has done more for emancipation of women than anything else in the world. That is by Susan B. Anthony.
Oh, well,
she's somebody who knows something. She knows a little bit of something about this. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, another very famous suffragist, said, "Woman is riding to suffrage on the bicycle."
Is that like one of those tandem bikes?
A tandem, yeah.
Like with suffrage on the front or
suffrage? Usually you want the stronger cyclist in the front. So I don't know. The woman, sure, well, sure. So, yeah. So I wanted to look more into this. Why is this? Why was the bicycle so important to this movement? And it really boils down to 3 things. The autonomy it allowed women to have.
Totally.
The mobility that they could have, and also their mode of dress. So I'll just break down these really briefly.
Oh, yeah. I can see how those things would be relevant.
Yeah. So the autonomy, I read one statement was really interesting. It said, a woman out on a bicycle, this is in the late 1800s, it was an acceptable way for a woman to be outside alone. She could be on her bicycle, right? She's riding a bicycle. So that's okay. She didn't need a man there. Also, of course, another big form of transportation back then was the horse. Now, mostly horses were tended by men. But in particular in cities, most people did not have horses in cities. This would be very expensive.
So one of the benefits of bicycles is there's no bicycle manure.
No manure of bicycles. Mm-mm. No. At least it's like it becomes a piece of shit. Like, because I ride my bicycle.
You ride a Schwinn manure?
Schwinn manure. So, and the mode of dress. And now, of course, we can imagine this. So this is coming out of Victorian times. You've got the corsets, you've got all the petticoats, you've got the hoop skirts. Of course, you're not going to be riding a bike on that. So the women reformists had been talking about having more rational dress, as they call it. Mm-hmm. Bloomers were part of this.
Bloomers are... They're like
bloomers,
little pants under your dress.
Yeah, those are this is the official term.
Sorry about this, everybody.
So bloomer is a bifurcated garment. Bifurcated,
like trousers.
Put that as a
like
trouser.
Trousers.
Yeah,
but it's like underneath a thing, right?
Underneath, it was like a petticoat, but with legs.
Got it.
With legs.
Yep.
That was already around. Amelia Bloomer, actually.
Did you make that up?
No, Amelia
It sounds like
Bloomer.
something you make up.
I didn't. This one's real. This is the fact part of the show.
Sorry, yeah.
And so, but the bicycle really brought this to the forefront because it was a bicycle craze in the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. They said in 1897, over 2 million bicycles
Just
were
think
sold.
how liberating that must have been.
Yeah.
Like women could get on their bike and go.
They could go.
Like, a bike expands the kind of perimeter of your world by order of magnitude.
Yeah.
How far you can walk versus how far you can ride.
Yeah.
That's far.
Yeah. And they could do it all by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And also it got women into competition. So men had lots of sports they could get into, lots of toys they could do. So the bike was like, another nice thing to have. Mm-hmm. For the women, it was really one of their first sports. Well, there were other sports, but they didn't have as many to choose from. Mm-hmm. And in particular, in the Detroit area, there was I
love the Detroit reference. Awesome.
This is for men. There was a bicycle club called the Detroit Wheelmen. That was opened in 1890. 4 years later, there was the Unique Cycling Club. That was a women's club. The two shared a clubhouse. Very nice.
Wow, very risque though. Maybe
very
risque.
I'm assuming. And all those women in their bloomers and the Mike in those tight bike shorts. I don't know.
The spandex and the guys with their little clippity clop shoes.
And their shaved legs.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was.
Is that a thing yet?
But just one more Detroit reference here.
Bring it.
This. As you may already know, the first automobiles were made entirely of bicycle parts. So in this bike club, this Detroit Wheelmen, the Dodge family, several members of the Dodge family, Henry Ford was not in the bike club, but he was definitely a bike enthusiast, used bike parts in his first cars.
Absolutely, because that's what they had, right? They motorized bicycles and created motorcycles.
It was basically two bicycles put together with an engine on it. So bikes in Detroit and bikes in women, rich history there.
Well, you went with women and bicycles. I went with fish and bicycles.
Tell me.
It was not a deep pool of research that was available, but I did find an article in the Guardian newspaper of the UK. Apparently fish, and this is the headline, fish swim as if they were riding bicycles.
Okay.
I know it sounds more fun than it is. Basically it means that, like a Peloton in the Tour de France, it's like where all the bikes are bunched up in one spot. Apparently fish do that too, because it creates this aerodynamic effect that kind of pulls the people in the back along with them,
all right. They catch each other's stream.
It's effectively like a slipstream. Yeah. And they used to think that that arrangement was like egalitarian, so that the distribution of both aerodynamics or hydrodynamics and food would be similar throughout the school of fish. But turns out it's not. Those strongest fish in the front get more of the food. So I was like, damn, elitist fish. But then I realized that the fish in the back get a benefit too, because they get pulled along, so they don't have to use as much energy.
Yeah. No, it's helpful. That's right. Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. And so that led me down this other rabbit hole. I was wondering, women don't need men, but do they need fish? And then I said, I was looking for that. So in Denmark, some scientists discovered that women who ate little or no fish were about 50% more likely to be hospitalized for heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure than those who ate a lot of fish. So apparently women eat fish. But
women don't need men, but they need fish.
Exactly. And bicycles, as you've already established.
And bicycles,
right?
yeah.
But, so do they need a bicycle? Really? And I was like, of course they do. Everyone needs a bicycle.
Well, I love
if
my
not
bike.
Several.
Yeah.
My friend says that you need T+1 bicycles, where T is the number of bicycles that you have now.
You always need one
it's
more.
It's a formula for bicycle needs.
It sounds very
scientific.
scientific.
Because bikes are the best, right? But do we need those like special bikes, like for women that like with a little?
Oh yeah, women. The shape of the man's bike and the shape of the women.
Now that we have bloomers, what the heck do we need to?
I'm interested. Did you look that up?
Are we all like wearing pencil skirts and like? We don't have special pedals for high heels, so why do we need a special bike for like a certain kind of skirt, right? Tell me.
No, I maybe we need that. Maybe we need stiletto bike pedals. Stiletto bike pedals.
I don't think so. That's just silly.
Okay, that's true. We wouldn't want to be silly.
I don't know. I can't imagine how that would be. Well, I mean, men walking around with their little bicycles, or anyone walking around bicycle shoes, they look
actually
like
the opposite.
High
like,
heels.
Hey, since we can be seen this
totally
time,
silly.
yeah, it's reverse high heels. It's
and then
toe.
slipping on the like little like goats trying to walk on a ice rink or something. Like
yeah, it makes the cyclists very vulnerable. Like women feel when they're on the high heels.
My business is the Workshop Brewing Company. I'm a brewer and by trade here.
Yes.
And when people come in off their bikes, I'm like super nervous. We have a concrete floor and they're like clippity clappity clippity, and then can I have 2 giant pints of beer? And then I'm like, oh no,
take off your shoes first.
Yeah, I know. But then they have to have shoes or no service, right? No, and
so
they
it's
have shirts on, but they're like really tight, and it's almost not a shirt.
And their pants are so tight too.
No, they should have to wear proper pants.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
So you're like strip down and put on this.
Can you please? I can give you bloomers or maybe like a hoop skirt. We could give them.
If you don't mind putting this on. You're embarrassing me.
Yeah. Okay. So my big thought. You want to go to big thoughts?
Yeah, I like your big thoughts. Let me hear your big thoughts, Pete.
So my big thought is: do fish need bicycles? Of course they don't, right? Nobody needs things. My big thought from my background in well-being science, right? And also, it's not just me. It's also Dr. Thomas Gilovich of Cornell University, no less.
Yes.
He says you'll get more happiness spending money on experiences like going to a museum, going camping, learning a new skill, or traveling, than buying things, right? And that's partly because we adapt to possessions. When we buy new things, we get kind of used to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we keep needing more and better, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somehow the memories that we make from shared experiences stay with us, right? And also because human connections made during those experiences are so satisfying. We've done in common with your friends. So
kind of like we lived through that together. I mean, that's the
Absolutely.
very much extreme side, but like we did that together.
Totally. It really doesn't matter how I don't know, fancy your paddleboard is. It just matters if you're out there paddleboarding with your friends. So maybe, I don't know, fish don't really need bicycles, but like people maybe need bicycles because it makes you go out with your friends. Like it used to be like women would just be it was like an excuse to be alone, but like now it's almost like an excuse to be together. So maybe fishes, they don't need bicycles, but they do need experiences. So maybe they should go to school.
Oh, the school. That's not.
Yeah, I want to get that.
I like that.
Sorry about that. It's really awful. But I'm sorry.
I mean, but it kind of that does tie into my big thought on this as well. Which
school?
Well, school education is my background in human development. But fishes don't need bicycles and women don't need men. But I do think we have now, if we can look at it now, 100 plus years later from when I was talking about all the suffragists and that we don't women don't necessarily need men, or they don't need somebody who's enabling them, allowing them to have, permission to have freedom or thoughts or education. Obviously, I don't need a man to be a Mrs. anymore, right? I don't need to be a Mrs. in order to be like a full-fledged contributing member of society, but we do need each other. So like it does tie in. I don't need a man, but I need you as my friend. I need Taylor here.
What kind of podcast would this be if it was just me or just you?
Boring.
Sucky.
Sucky, really sucky. It's just you, Pete.
I'd just be like,
you'd be like pushing the buttons. Taylor's not helping us out.
Confused.
You would have been on mute the whole time.
We wouldn't have this giant studio audience in here cheering us on.
Yeah, we would just all of our friends surrounding us and giving us cheers and toasts.
Absolutely. So I don't know, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, but I don't know how you feel, but I feel like we all need one another.
We need each other. It is true. Pete, I'm glad to be here with you.
Me too. Oh my gosh. And I'm glad to be here at the Detroit Women Comedy Festival.
Yeah. And feeling so supported with Jess here helping us out. So I think that brings us to our second part.
We ready?
All right, so we're back for our second part. As we promised this gorgeous listening audience, we're going to make up a proverb. Better be good, Pete.
I think it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. So we have, as we've been teasing from the start, we have a really expensive machine. It's been provided to us by the Boardman Review, who is our great sponsor, who just supports us in all things podcasts and anything creative.
We just upgraded the software to version 14.3 too.
14.3. We took all of your suggestions. We've thrown it into the Proverbatron, and let's see the lucky words that spit out of the machine. All right.
Okay.
We got the first word.
Here we go. The first word is croissant. Croissant.
Croissant.
The French pastry.
Croissant for those of you.
Oh, yeah, croissant. Croissant.
All right. Let's push the button to the Proverbatron to see our second word. Our second word from our live audience is umbrella. Umbrella is our second word.
Wait, did you say umbrella?
I said umbrella.
Because down in New Orleans, they say umbrella.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they say upstairs instead of upstairs.
Oh, I hear
An
you.
umbrella.
Where the accent is.
Just
yeah.
a slight.
Okay, I love it.
Sorry, just a little slight thing.
All
Anyway,
right. Well, I love these two words because these
too.
two words remind me of that really famous proverb
that
we
European
all
proverb
know
that came
and
across
love.
the pond. And so I'm sure you all already know what this proverb is, but I'm just going to reiterate it for your benefit. And it's this: it's a damn fool who uses a croissant for an umbrella.
Yeah.
Damn fool.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Can I say that?
Oh yeah, we're getting a little saucy and spicy here.
Sorry,
but it's a
children,
damn fool who uses
a croissant for an umbrella.
A croissant.
Remember?
For an umbrella.
It's good to write it down because you want to make sure that we don't.
Yeah, because there's so many different
mistakes.
versions, and I want to use the same version as we go through this. Yeah, in my research into this, I was really surprised because you hear croissant, you think, oh, this is somewhere to do with France or other countries that might have it. But what was really interesting is it's a Canadian. It wasn't France. It's from our neighbors to the north that this came about.
Sure.
What did you learn?
Yeah, I was surprised at that combination too, because croissants and umbrellas, they do have a similar shape. You know, when your umbrella is like fully extended from the side, it has that croissant.
It has a croissant. I noticed that and I was like, oh, I'm so hungry. Every time I see an open umbrella.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. And it's weird. That subliminal.
My
urge.
stomach starts growling like, oh, it's raining. Oh, damn.
Yeah. And, I was thinking maybe someday I've like marketing an umbrella that was like printed so it looked like a croissant.
Pete, don't use now somebody's going to take your $1 million idea.
Shoot, I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, up in Canada, this thing came out and it came out of publishing,
The publishing industry.
The publishing world, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was the idea of the umbrella and it was right back when photographs were a new part of newspapers. You remember, like there was before that it was newspapers with pure text and like typeset and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So then they started coming out with like photographs as part of the as part of these articles.
Yeah.
And there was that that big flood.
Yeah. Well, there's the big flood, and this was before the advent of the umbrella, and so people were using these newspapers to cover their head and their hair and their hats. They had big hats back then, especially in Canada.
Yep.
I mean, being in Detroit, they're neighbors with Canada, so they see these they see a lot of this remnant of these huge hats. But back then when this proverb was invented, huge hats, and they needed to protect their hats with the newspaper.
I know, and it's weird. Why would you have a hat that like couldn't withstand the weather?
Because the Canadians are completely impractical. They are all about fashion. They're completely about
sorry Canadians.
That is not
Canadian
an insult.
Listeners,
that is not an insult because they are so fashion conscious and artful. They're saying,
it's a compliment.
It's a compliment. That's absolutely a compliment. Yeah.
What kind of hats were they like big rim hats or
Well,
what? More
I
like
saw
beanie
a lot of
caps?
photos.
Like they have toques isn't that what they call Canadians call like a knit cap?
The
Is
toque.
it toque?
Yeah, the toque. Yeah.
toque?
So back then they were wide brimmed.
Oh, really?
Wide brimmed. Of course, there was
That's
function.
right.
There was
Yeah,
function
of
with it
course.
as well because it could keep them warm, but also block out that strong sun, that
But the
strong
rain,
Canadian sun.
because you get really sunburned. It's high UV index.
Yeah.
But not they sucked in the rain. They hadn't figured that out.
No,
So
no,
there was like
no, they were
this
not for
whole
the
thing
rain.
of like newspapers on the head.
Yeah.
So weird. And in the big flood of the 1894 flood of Montreal was when this all really came to a head.
Yeah. Are you okay? You're getting a little choked up. It
No,
seems.
no,
Did you
no.
have family?
No, I
there,
didn't. No,
or
I wasn't part.
I'm so
It's
like
just something that I
in
ate
tune with
earlier.
you. That I'm like,
I know you feel
I'm
that.
going to need
I need
support my partner.
Excuse me. I need a little bit of drink.
So yeah, the flood of, I read about this as well. The flood of me and my numbers.
1894.
94.
Montreal. Yeah. It was just a Canadian, French-speaking city,
Mhm.
of course. And they had several different newspapers there, and there was the Montreal Courant.
Wait.
And then which was like the high-class newspaper printed on very high-quality paper.
Yeah.
And then there was the Montreal Croissant, which is a funny name for a newspaper, but that's what they used to call that was the cheaper newspaper.
Yeah.
And the reason it wasn't really called the Montreal Courant, it was actually called Montreal Times, but it was a cheap paper. They called it the Croissant because bakers would always like use it to wrap
their
all
baked
their pastries,
goods. Yeah, they did.
And that's
yeah.
how they
Yeah.
it got started being called that,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So
So obviously this is leading to you first using the newspaper, right?
Right.
But bakers are wrapping the croissants. Some people, oh my God, it's raining. I've got all my croissants. They would put
and
the
in my
and
croissant newspaper
in
too,
my
with
newspaper,
the croissant we call
and
it.
then of course you're raining croissants on your head.
Right. And so obviously it
Right.
was like oily and it would ruin your croissants.
Yeah.
It would ruin your hat.
And it ruin your day.
When you've got your cafe au lait,
Yeah.
right? You've got your pain au chocolat, which is basically for all you non-French speakers, it's just a croissant that's chocolate in it.
It's stuffed with chocolate. Yeah.
So you got that in there and you're like, oh crap, here comes the rain. And in 1894, it's a huge rain,
Yeah.
giant flood, hundreds of people putting the croissant
On their head. Yeah.
And what happens?
They're getting a delicious soggy snack, first of all.
Right. Ruins their hat.
Their hat. You got to throw away any
Kaputski,
as they say in Canada. Exactly. Yeah.
That's another idiomatic phrase, which we'll maybe cover in a different episode.
Yeah.
It's this Canadian idiom,
Yeah.
kaputski.
Yeah.
But in any case, obviously, so
then out of that, and I think it was Joseph F. Ferdinand, which is actually a woman, which is a little bit
weird. Yeah.
So Joey. She was the first to be known to cry this from the bell tower in downtown Montreal.
Because
during the flood, because she needed to get to high ground, right?
She's like, it's a damn fool who used a croissant for an umbrella. You silly Montreal Canadians. Get a regular umbrella.
Yeah, but they didn't have it. Like, what are you talking about? Umbrella? We use newspapers.
Right. But see, the people
that was the advent
Yeah.
of the umbrella, which is a little known fact.
Yeah, because before that, people just got wet. It's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope
I hope it's really, I'm sure it's really clear. And if
Yeah.
people hadn't heard this proverb before.
Yeah, I'm sorry if it's boring because y'all heard this one before, but like doing our best. And, this is what we do. We just kind of elucidate on proverbs so that everybody knows where they came from, what they mean.
Because it is a damn fool when
Who uses it?
who uses a croissant for an umbrella.
Absolutely.
All right, Pete, you know what? I loved exploring this proverb with you.
The pleasure was mine. And I'm so glad that I could do it with you too.
Hello, it is me again, and it is a damn fool who uses a croissant for an umbrella. I know I'm going to take that advice. I'm going to remember it. Next time I'm walking down the street with a croissant and it starts raining, I'm going to think, don't try to use this. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But that was awesome. We're starting the night out pretty well, in my opinion, if you ask me. Thank you, Lisa and Pete. That was amazing and wonderful. And you should check out their podcast. It's so clever. They do a great job. They're so quick. You wouldn't know it's improv. That's how quick they are. A couple other things. you should follow the festival, of course. And that is Detroit Women of Comedy Fest on Twitter or on Instagram. I am so sorry. I know things sometimes. And also on Facebook, Detroit Women of Comedy Fest. You can find on Detroit WOC Fest on Twitter. That is a mouthful, let me tell you. And we are so happy you're here, just, celebrating women in comedy and joining us for this completely new venture into the digital realm of it. So, thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting everything. Y'all are amazing. Everybody who puts this festival together is amazing. And you know what? I hope you enjoy the rest of the night. We've got a lot of stuff coming up for you. There is some stand-up, a lot of stand-up. There is a lot of beautiful sketches. They are going to make you laugh so hard. And on top of that, we've also got the Planet Home Team coming up. So stick around for that later. We've also got Dead Waves coming up. That is always a lot of fun. So please stick around, enjoy it all, and catch you soon.
You should check me out. Come on. I just do like
met you. Been dancing on the clouds. You're heaven sent. Did it hurt when you hit the ground? You sparkle like a diamond. You take my breath away. I'm hashtag blessed. You're the beat to my J. The way you move, the way you shake. So hot and so cool. Can't help but say, I freaking love you. Something about you. Got all of the feels. It's magic for real. I freaking love you. I freaking love you. Your kisses are electric. Your touch is dynamite. You must be tired from always running through my mind. The way you move, the way you shake. So hot and so cool. Can't help but say, I freaking love you. Something about you. Got all of the feels. It's magic for real. I freaking love you. I freaking love you. The way you move, the way you shake. So hot, so cool. Too much to taste. The way you move, the way you shake. So hot, so cool. Can't help but say, I freaking love you. I freaking love you. Come on, let's do this. I freaking love you. I freaking love you. I freaking love you. Something about you. Got all of the feels. It's magic for real. I freaking love you. I freaking love you. I freaking love you. Something about you. Got all of the feels. It's magic for real. I freaking love you. I freaking love you.
I wanna love you, baby, for giving your heart to me. I wanna love you, baby, for showing me the way to be.
And I wanna love you, baby, keeping me warm at night. 'Cause when my soul got weak, show me wrong for right, yeah.
We got enough love, so maybe we won't have tomorrow. We got enough for today and every tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah.
Alright. I wanna love you, baby, for every little thing you do. I wanna love you, baby, for the hours I spent with you.
And I wanna love you, baby, for holding me every day. 'Cause when I start to worry, you know just what to say, yeah.
We got enough love, so maybe we won't have tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got enough for today and every tomorrow.
All right now.
Now listen to me, honey.